Good evening, traders. It is Thursday, September 14th, 2023, and this is your daily PATsScalper chart review. Overall, a very bullish day. There were some ranges throughout, but overall, the bears could not keep price down. The bulls just kept winning on winning, and at the end of the day, you've got this solid bull trend line that held. Let's jump right in, but first, let's review our strategy. Now, again, I don't trade pre-market, but this is a good example of what we look for. We're looking for two strong legs with two strong rejections, and then looking to take that on the opposite side all the way down for four ticks. Now, what is a leg and what is a rejection, and what do you mean by strong? Well, a leg is simply just a movement in price that is in one direction. And a strong leg is a movement of price in one direction that has a significant uh, price change. For example, let's just take this as an example. This is a strong bar. This is a strong bar, somewhat strong bar, but then another hammer strong bar um, up to the top side here. So this is a strong leg, is what I would call it. It's a strong bull leg. Price moved all the way up. Yes, it did stop, but that's what we're looking for is a strong leg up. In this case, it's a bull leg. You've got a strong bearish leg down here. Again, price just needs to move in one direction with some momentum, with some velocity. Bigger bars, the better. You want to ignore chop like this. As much as this is a strong bull leg, we've got one, two strong bull bars. They're beefy. Look at the wicks. This is maybe two, three ticks. This is one tick. But for the most part, these bars are full body bull bars. That means price moved up, stayed up, buyers overwhelmed all the sellers, and just moved price up. I don't like these dojis, and that's where, as long as this is a strong push, yes, it's a strong rejection. You have your hammer top, but this is a doji. You wouldn't necessarily want to go short here, even though you do have the top up here, because again, this is not necessarily a strong move, right? You've got a small bar, buyers and sellers fought price back and forth up until it closed as this bullish doji, and you don't know where price is going to go when this closes. So that's where we look for a strong leg. In this case, this is a strong bull leg, a strong rejection, meaning price just stops. That's where we're looking for our hammer tops. It's where we're looking for kind of our engulfing all the way down. Price closed here, moved up, but then moved all the way back down to close down here. And that means sellers have come in. And that's why we look for these big moves, because if we're looking for these small moves, and that's why I always say to ignore the micro moves as well. And what do you mean by micro moves? Well, micro moves are just these ticks up and down that, yes, they're technical first and second entry longs. Let's just take this as an example. We've got a technical second entry here. We've got another third entry down here, but I ignore all these micro moves where it ticks up, then ticks down. These are both dojis. Buyers and sellers argued over this price, but then they closed in the center. They're not beefy bars. I kind of just omit them. And that's where I would consider this as one strong bull leg, ignoring these micro movements. If you were accounting for these micro movements, you would maybe count this as a bull leg failure, another bull leg failure, and it just gets too noisy and you're going to get chopped out, you're going to get stopped out. And that's where I'm looking for these strong moves. That price really went from the bottom all the way to the top and then just stopped. And that's where down here, this is where all the sellers maybe think that they're picking the top or whatever, and maybe they'll short here, and yeah, you'll maybe get your 4 ticks here and there, but I don't do those. That's where we're looking for these strong movements. We're not looking for these micro chops because you don't really know where price is going to go. I can assume and have a good chance that price is going to go down when I see this huge move up and then it doesn't go anywhere. It just stops. And that's where we look for the second failure because you don't want to short or go opposite no matter the leg on the first failure because we don't know if that first failure maybe works, but then price continues up higher. We want to look for that second failure, that second attempt to move price up, and if it fails, that's where again we've got a good chance that there's support here. And using this as an example, strong bull leg up, strong rejection. Again, strong leg here versus something like this where these are just a bunch of wicks. Yeah, it went down after a strong move up, even if you consider this all one bull leg, but this closes a doji. Again, buyers brought it all the way back here. So that's where you want to look for where price just stops. And in this case, you've got this strong bull bar. Price went all the way up here, but then it didn't go higher. And then you've got this hammer top up here, this bearish hammer top that continued to move price down. And that's, in my opinion, and that's what I call out, a strong rejection. You've got that strong bear leg, strong meaning these bars are full. There's not much wick to them. They're pretty large in size. They're not small dojis. It's a solid price movement all the way down. You know sellers came in up here and moved price all the way down, and that's what you want to look for. A strong move up, a strong rejection. Again, you don't want to short on the first side. You want to wait for that strong rejection. I know sellers are now here. You want to wait for that strong move up, and again, you don't want to look for these dojis, these bad legs, because again, yes, that would work. Yeah, you do have this strong bar and the price kind of stopped, but that's again why I kind of don't like these hammers. You want a strong leg, and again, ignore these kind of micro, small, up and down tick movements. Strong leg up to where that extreme was. This is halfway to that extreme. We don't know if there's buyers that are going to step in, and get you one tick down and then go all the way back up again. Again, it's a micro move. You want to look for where that rejection, that second rejection happens, roughly where that first rejection happens. Because again, price went from here all the way up, buyer, buy, stop, all the way back down. We know sellers came in up here. They exhausted down here, but we're waiting for them to resume the selling up here to move price all the way back down. And that's the overall strategy is you want to look for one leg, failure, two legs, failure, and then you enter down, and it works the other way. Strong bear leg, failure, another strong leg, failure. This is again strong bear body, somewhat strong, but then you've got this hammer, meaning price buyers came in right here and they just stopped this price. As much as sellers try to continue pushing down, you've got this inverse hammer right here. Buyers didn't let this tick any further. Yeah, it ticked down, and that's where I like these entries as well. Again, this is pre-market, I don't do this, but when you see all of these double bottoms here, there's stops here for maybe this leg, or maybe a long came in even here, and then they put their stop at this lower swing here because this maybe hasn't formed yet. There's stops here, but when you see that price tick down, hit those stops, and when you're long, you have to sell to close. And when you have to sell, you're going to move price down more. But what happens is if this ticks through and all those longs still have the conviction that price is going to move up again, they're not going to get out, or maybe they buy more, and that's where it'll tick through, doesn't go anywhere, and goes all the way back up, and that gives you again some confidence that yes, those buyers normally would have been stopped out here, and if they were actually stopped out, price probably would have rocketed or at least gone a little bit further down in this area, but it didn't. And that's because it went right back up, and that gives us an idea of, hey, there's strong buyers here. So to the point and to the strategy, it works both sides, and that's where we use EMA to really dictate our position. If we're under EMA, we want a long. If we're above EMA, we want a short. EMA, the 21 EMA, acts as a price magnet. You can see, no matter where price goes, up or down, it's going to get back to this EMA one way or another. And that's where we use the EMA to dictate our position. Are we going bull, bear, short, long? And then if it is at EMA and there is still a good setup, you want to most likely go with trend. Rarely do those because, again, you want to buy low, sell high. Price is a magnet at EMA. That's a 50-50 chance. Good setups, yeah, I'll take them once in a while, but again, you want to wait for these kind of upper movements up here way above EMA. The higher, the more you are away from the EMA, either all the way up here short-wise or all the way down here long-wise, the higher the chance of that being successful for 4 ticks. Just again, because this acts as a magnet, and the further you get away from that magnet, the more someone else is going to see that as a buying opportunity. Buy low, sell high. So again, to the point, you're looking for 2 strong legs and then a rejection. Strong bull leg, rejection, strong bull leg, rejection. Same thing here. We've got our strong bear leg, rejection, strong bear leg, rejection, and then in this case you would go long, in this case you'd go short. That's the overall strategy. You're looking for that second rejection of 2 strong legs, ignore the micro movements, count visual strong legs, and strong, again, solid bars. You don't want to look at dojis. Even this, This is a solid bar, but this is an ugly T-bar. This is a bearish doji, and this is, yeah, okay, a 50-50 filled versus wick bar. But this is an okay move. I wouldn't call this super strong. This is a strong move. And that's where the kind of those perfect setups matter when you look for your those legs. You want to look for, this is a solid leg failure, and then you enter up here. If you were to enter down here, yes, again, sometimes that'll work. You're only going for 4 ticks. Even the worst strategy will get 4 ticks here and there. But you're looking for the perfect setups, and this isn't a good leg. You've got, yes, bears came in here, but then brought price all the way back down here to have the buyers come in and bring it here. And then, again, you've got kind of this fighting in this leg. And when you see fighting up and down, you don't want to trust it. You want to know that this strong leg, I know buyers came in, and then it stopped. I know sellers were like, no thanks, I like selling here. Buyers, you got to wait all the way, maybe down here to buy. I'm going to be shorting all this stuff, and I'm going to bring all the price all the way down. And that's what we look for. Strong leg, strong failure. Don't count this crap. You want to look for strong body, strong body. This is, now that second leg, that second bull leg, and then you want to, short on that strong failure. In this case, you've got the strong bull leg, strong body. It's very bullish, and then again, price just stops. My preference again is this double top, because this is one tick down. I probably would have been hesitant on it. It is plenty of space, way above EMA. Good trade here. Somewhat low risk, 7 tick bar, and again, we only go for 8 tick risk. But that's what we're looking for, is those strong legs, those strong rejections, and then we go opposite. Again, that's the overall strategy. The nuance comes around the bars and waiting, honestly, for these strong legs, because you can easily blow up your account if you're antsy and trying to force trades, or again, you've got that profit target, whatever it may be to get you antsy to be in that market. You're going to enter on these bad legs because you say, hey, I saw this strong bull leg. Oh, instant rejection. That's a leg right there. Went up, went all the way down. I'm going to short right here. That's easy money. And look, you don't get your 4 ticks, shoots back up, you get stopped out, and that's how you blow your account. So you want to wait, and that's where a lot of times I'm just sitting in my hands. It's literally what I'm saying in Discord. I'm doing nothing, and you wait for, hey, I know price just shot up. This has been a strong, strong bar here. Somewhat chop here, but this is a strong move, and then, okay bar here. Again, I probably wouldn't have taken this, not the double top, but this is a strong leg before itself. So that's the gist of it. Again, this is all pre-market. I didn't trade any of this, but I did want to explain what a leg is, what we look for, and that's where these yellow, green, red arrows and whatnot will go through as what I traded today, or rather what I didn't trade today as well, and we'll go through the nuances. Overall, good day for me. Went 7-1, so let's jump in and break things down. So again, I don't trade pre-market. Wait till 9:30. I'm Eastern time. You don't know this range is starting yet, so that's where, yes, your top of range after it's been painted, but again, you want to wait for those strong legs. Point here, and is you've got this leg, this bull leg, strong bull body here, inverse hammer here. That's where, if you are calling these micro movements, you maybe call that your first technical bear entry. Shoots up again. If you were to short here, yes, it would work, but again, I don't like one move, or rather these micro moves. In my opinion, this is one solid bull move. If this paused price up here, as you can see, you've got your wick up here, that bar closes, and then again you've got this hammer up here. Price hasn't moved above this, so I can assume sellers have started to enter the market, defend this price, and that's where I'm waiting. This is a strong bull leg. I'm waiting for that rejection, which we get here once I see this tick through, but then it never came back up. And that's what I wanted to call out. Is if this ticked up, solid rejection here, ticked up, maybe another solid bull bar here and then another tick down, I would have taken that short. But again, that's where we wait. So I did take this. Now that we've got one leg, another leg up, and another leg that pause in this same area, I can draw my range. Yes, it's only one, two touches of support here and one up here for resistance. But I like to draw my ranges early because it at least identifies what could be. If it doesn't turn out and it blows right through, one of your tops or bottoms, delete it. I took this partly because again I just drew this range as soon as I saw this bear bar just stop. This ended up being a failed engulfing, and again I take these assuming the context is good basically every time. So what happened is bear leg happened, price just stopped right where the support previously was, ticked up to get the first set of longs in, engulfed all the way down, and maybe these first set of longs in had their stops right here, ticked all the way through to end up being a bearish engulfing bar. So price again ticked up, then ticked all the way back down through this double bottom, and then it didn't go anywhere. It shot right back up. So all the bears who entered as soon as it saw, they like, hey, it ticked through this double bottom. I'm gonna short here. All of their stops go right up at this, top of this wick here, and then price goes back up, and now they're starting to sweat. All the bears who entered here, they're starting to sweat as they see price go up. My entry for long is sitting right up here, wherever this wick, I think this wick is correct, but sometimes based on how the bar ends, the wick is different. But my long is sitting up here for wherever that stop, the bears that entered on here, they put their stop one tick above where the wick was. That's where I entered long. So as soon as I saw that tick through, I entered. I drew this range. Again, we're bottom of the range, somewhat mid-range, but again, this isn't failed engulfing. I like this, and to the point, I like it when price ticks through where stops would be, in this case long stops, but then it didn't go anywhere. And that tells me, okay, normally if stops are here, they're going to have to, in their long, they're going to sell the close. Price should move with that momentum a little bit further down, but it didn't. Price just stalled, hung right out, and shot right back up. So even if this wasn't a failed engulfing, I wouldn't take it because it doesn't really. Although honestly, if this is a solid leg, rejection solid leg, this honestly following our rules would also be a good trade. I took it again, failed engulfing, got my 4 ticks. Runner got ticked out. I believe this bar. It is what it is, but I got my 4 ticks. Again, solid legs here, and this is the difference between this, which you maybe count this as a bear leg. Again, I don't, and that's why I called this out as don't take this. But this one, you can see this is a solid bull leg. Solid bar here. This is the failed engulfing that I actually took on. Solid bull body here. And then you've got price went all the way up to this wick. Sellers started to come in and push all the way down. And that's where you can see, this is a solid bear bar. You've got this inverse hammer where that's bearish as price went all the way back down here. So you can kind of see the zigzag starts from here. And let me paint it just to make it a little bit more obvious. Price starts all the way down here, shoots all the way up here, then comes all the way back down here. So you've got your first rejection. Then it comes the wrong one. Then it comes all the way back up here. And this is what I like to take again. It's these double tops. So now that we've got our second attempt for the bulls to push price higher, and price didn't go anywhere. Let me zoom in now. Price didn't go anywhere. Again, we've got this double top. This was our previous attempt at the bulls to push price higher. Price didn't go higher than this. Double top here. Strong bear body. There's really no wick. Yeah, you got one tick on each side, but strong bear body. Plenty of room. And at this point, I actually had this range, drawn, I believe, down here where these tops were. So from that perspective, you're not anywhere near mid-range. This is a solid entry. You've got your first leg, failure, second leg, price again has not moved anywhere, and we know, this is even triple test, we know from over here, sellers are in this area, and that's where we want to join with strong bars. This is strong bar. It's a full body bear bar with momentum. We know sellers are up here, and that's what we're looking for, because again, we're scalping. We're looking to join other sellers or other buyers if we're going long to get in and out. And that's where we want to wait for these good moves and not these doji craps, because you don't know what's going to happen. Dojis are always 50-50, same as middle range, all that. So we're waiting for the perfect setups. Strong leg failure, strong leg failure. Took this, yeah, ticked up, but again, I got my 4 ticks. Plenty of room. Swing lows all the way down here. Great, great trade. A lot of chop here. If you wanted to call this one solid leg, again, I didn't because I counted this as a solid rejection, and then this was the solid bar that I took. But all of these are mid-range. Now that I've kind of seen the high up here and these matching highs, that's where I move my range up a little bit. If I can move it up. I think I moved it up to the double top that I took. Yeah, because it matches that top. Now, when I'm starting to see these, I'm thinking middle range, and I don't like taking stuff like that. Again, if we're counting legs, if we want to count this as one leg, okay rejection, yeah, price got all the way down here, but then it didn't really go anywhere here, but I don't really like these bars. Um, this isn't a double top, even though this is a hammer, and let's just count this. We've got one leg, two leg failure, and let's just now, again, assume this is one leg for argument's sake. Failure, up again, and then again, there's no good bars to short on. This is a good bar to short on. It's full body, not a doji. These, you don't really have much space. You're middle of range. It's just not a good context-wise, even if you want to argue that it's two rejections and then a failure, and yeah, price did go down. Um, it's still middle of the range. You've got all three support swing, wicks here. Um, this is plenty of room, and that's where, even in hindsight, if I had to pick a bar, I'd still go short here. Yeah, perfect hindsight. If I could pick every runner, this is obviously the best bar. But again, from our setup wise, strong leg failure, strong leg failure. I can't really count much here. This is just chop, 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 chop. So I didn't take anything here. That's why I painted this as like, even if you wanted to count this as the second failure, middle of the range, not necessarily a good entry bar. I wouldn't have taken this. Down here, solid bare leg rejection. I'm looking for that next move down and then price to halt here and then look long. Didn't happen. Shot back up, middle of the range, kind of then went back down. Wanted to call, again, this out. Yes, you have this bull leg rejection, and that's where you want to just ignore these micro movements, because if you start counting these micro movements, you're just going to get chopped out. Couple reasons I wanted to call this one out. Again, strong bull leg. This is a strong failure. Price went all the way back down here, but then there's no, in my opinion, solid attempt back up here. Yes, you get these hammers, but you're shorting now at the bottom of this range. I want price to come back up here for this, even if it's up here, with enough room to get in and out between this range. Even if I think that this is the perfect bar, perfect setup, there's no, and this trend line wasn't drawn at this time, so ignore that. There's no room. This is the range lows. Yeah, you could maybe argue, oh, well, the low's down here, but again, you want to buy low, sell high. You're under EMA, so technically you want to long if you're under EMA. Price acts as a magnet for the EMA. So I mark this out as, even if you do get that strong leg rejection and you want to start counting these micro legs, it's never going to work. It long term at least, right? Because you're always going to get those one off to keep you interested. Get my 4 ticks, but then you're gonna, with your 8 tick stop, you're gonna get 3 bad trades just because you're trying to jump in the market, and there goes your account. So don't take stuff like this. Again, you want to buy low, sell high, and that's where you can see the arrows that I took down here on bottom of the range, failed engulfing, up to the highs. Plenty of room up here. Up here, on top of the range, plenty of room to lows, solid rejection, and that's what you want to wait for. If you jump into the market looking for stuff like this, it's just never going to work in your favor. Moved all the way down. I didn't take this because I had this trend line painted at the time. Hindsight, it is a failed breakout of this range. You do get this solid leg. Look at this bar. This is a solid bear bar, and this is what I'm calling out. You get this price that just halts. There's nothing moving down here. Buyers came in. Price didn't go any further, and then you get this first attempt back down, and then now again price just halts. This wasn't engulfing, but again I had this trend line drawn, and as I always say, everyone draws trend lines. You're going to get shorts that just hold their limit orders here, and that's going to act as support. And a lot of times you're just gonna maybe get 2 ticks up and be like, oh yeah, I'm in a winning trade, and then it's gonna hit the trend line. Shorts are gonna start to enter, and then it's gonna go back down. So if this was maybe lower with enough room outside of the trend line, maybe even down here, maybe. But by the time you're down here, this leg should be reset because again, you're looking for price to come down to an area. It doesn't have to be always to the tick. Buyers and sellers, they're going to argue, and it's never going to be. Sometimes it will be, but it most always won't be to the tick. Um, you're looking for that kind of 2 tick, 3 tick area zone that sellers have entered. But if price goes down here and then continues to move all the way down here, those sellers have won. Those buyers who went in here, they're certainly stopped out or they're waiting for price to go even further before they then start buying up again. So that's where when you see these rejections, this is a solid rejection because it's in the same area. But I'm just calling out if I'm expecting price to get down here, you don't want to necessarily count these rejections anymore. Once you get that new extreme, those buyers, those sellers, they've won, and now you're waiting for another kind of 2 rejections for that price to then stall out. So again, I'm just calling this out. Nice trade, ignoring this trend line. You've got your kind of, oh, I'm breaking on this range, but then it builds that breakout and comes right back. You do have this solid leg rejection, another solid leg, and then price just halts, and then it is a bullish engulfing. But I didn't like it with this trend line. I did take it. Would have been a nice runner though. But again, hindsight, I'm 7-1 today, right? Like I am happy with my day, and I'm not gonna fret and get mad over a miss like this. There's always gonna be big moves like that. It's better to trust your strategy, play the numbers game, and a lot of times again, this looks good and right now, but the next time you play this and you play the ignoring the trend line, you're gonna get stopped out, and that's where again the law of the large numbers. Just let your strategy work for you, and we're waiting for the perfect setup. Um, Shot right back up to the top of the range. No second attempt up here. You've got this solid bull leg. Price just stops. So okay, now I'm looking I'm looking short, top of the range. Price has halted here. It rejects, but then there's no second attempt up, and then another rejection for us to short. So it just goes all the way back down. Nothing to do here. Solid bear leg, and again, you want to ignore these price movements. Yeah, you could start counting these, and that's where when you start looking in hindsight, you'll find all the perfect entries. But we're looking for the ones that are perfect when we see them as it paints in the chart, not in hindsight, not cherry picking perfect trades. So I count this as one solid bear leg. Again, I ignore these micro moves. Solid rejection. Look at this bull bar, and then like I was just saying, price just blew right through. Buyers did not defend this price area. If this shot up and then stayed here and then shot back up, that'd probably be maybe a decent setup. But it didn't, and it shot right back down. So that's where the buyers that were defending this area as this leg started are no longer here. Price just shot back down. So that's where we reset our count, and now we're looking for another rejection and then another attempt. Mini range up here, solid bull leg, and again, now that we're in this reset, you want to look for that next attempt down, and that's where I actually got stopped out here. We've got this range. I was expecting it to be this second rejection from this strong leg. So we've got strong bear leg, strong rejection, chop, 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 range down, and then I took this on a bullish engulfing. I was thinking again, it's a solid rejection after that. Buyers are defending this price line. It's also a failed breakout of this range. Price went down, and this range started from a bullish leg, so this range should have a bullish bias. It shot down, bullish engulfing, and unfortunately it was a failed engulfing. One that actually, ironic, my favorite trades, and you actually, if you took this, would have gotten your 4 ticks. But I got stopped out, unfortunately. And again, that's, you're not going to win every trade. You want to take the setups that match your strategy, and we've got one solid bear leg rejection, second solid bear leg, price held. You've got this inverse hammer, meaning this is double bottom, price is being defended still by the buyers, and with this bullish engulfing, I'm thinking, hey, that's a good setup. Plenty of room, bottom of this range, under EMA, strong bear bar, price just stopped, bullish engulfing. That means momentum's there, buyers are getting in, and it didn't work. Again, good setup, good trade, just didn't go my way. And again, that's law of large numbers. You want to take the perfect setups. You're not going to win all of them, but the goal is that you're going to win the majority of them, and that's going to outweigh the losses. Um, uh, this one, again, hindsight, runners are great, but that's where once I got stopped out here and this kind of started a no stream, you could kind of argue this is still maybe the same price line. I sit out on stuff like this. Um, yes, you do have this now maybe counting that now that this is closed and I've been stopped out as one bare leg, and prices stopped, and you've got your inverse hammer here, stopped anyone who was having their stops out here, and then price shot back up. Maybe an okay entry, but again, I got stopped out here. When I get stopped out, to avoid over trading, revenge trading, all that, I just take a break. I go get a coffee or a water or whatever, and just sit out the next few bars, next few minutes, relax, get those emotions out, come back to the chart and start reading fresh. So, um, okay setup here. If you count this as a strong bear bar, and this is still the same rough price area, I kind of want to argue this is almost a new extreme because this is it's 4 ticks. If it was any more, certainly new extreme. And again, some of this is just a little bit nuanced and subjective. It's not always to the tick, but solid rejection. You got your hammer or inverse hammer, and then shoots right back up. But yeah, unfortunately got stopped out and just sat out on stuff like this. Then we get to this strong bull trend. Didn't really take anything here. Again, I was sitting on my hands. I'm looking to short. We're way above EMA. Even for longs, I would long at a strong trend like this if it was at EMA, but we never got anywhere near EMA. So when we're so far away from EMA, I'm always looking to short. If we're in a strong trend at EMA, I'll stay with the trend, but we just never got there. Really nothing price-wise that stayed, and again, that's where the bulls just kind of kept pushing all day. We've got this strong bull leg, strong rejection. Like, look at this. You've got your hammer top here, strong bear bar. This is a solid bear leg, but then price just keeps going up. It doesn't stay around here. It's not a second rejection here, and just keeps moving up. And this is really this whole trend is we get this rejection, and then price keeps moving up, and that's where I called this out. You've got this range drawn from before. You could call this as one leg, one strong bull leg. You've got your rejection, ignoring these micro bars, strong bull leg up here. You know, ignoring this bear, it is a hammer, but you've got this strong no wick bull body, strong one tick wick bull body, and then these dojis up here. I wouldn't take this. Again, you're sort of middle of the range. This also is a bullish doji. Even if this was a double tap or double top, you're still in this trend. So I wanted to call this out as, even though this is low risk, and yes, it did work, and even if you wanted to argue maybe this is the range you're looking at, I don't take stuff like that when you're in such a strong trend like that, because you can see it just shoots right back up. What I'm looking for is you've got your leg, strong rejection, and then another strong rejection. You got these, just these dojis. I don't like that. I want like up over here where you've got this strong bull leg, and then this isn't a doji. This is just a hammer, double top, slams right back down. So that's what I'm waiting for. And again, you're kind of middle of the range. You don't want to take stuff like this. Again, price continues to shoot right back up. Bull leg, so our count reset. We're way above this rejection, and then again, just shoots right back up. We're way above this price line. All the sellers that entered here for this leg, nowhere around here, and then price just continues to move up. Again, chop. You want to ignore just dojis like this. When you start looking at like, hey, I'm in this strong bull leg rejection, strong bull leg, and then maybe you see that, you don't want to enter on stuff like that, because let's just say this takes like one low, and you're like, hey, buyers are getting exhausted, a bunch of dojis, and you'd be stopped out. So that's where patience is key. Ignore all the dojis, ignore all the micro movements. You want solid bars like this, and if that was this inverse hammer, and then maybe like a bar that had a double top up here and then slammed down, maybe you take that, but you're also still in this strong trend. And by the time that forms with these 4 ticks to this trend line support, I wouldn't take that again. I don't like shorting or longing into trend line support or resistance because again, everyone draws those. Everyone's going to have their limit orders there. Whether it works or not, that is support, that is resistance. We want to make sure we have the momentum, but enough space to get in and out. So a bunch of chop here. Didn't take anything really all the way up until here. You can see just kind of like just ugly, ugly movement. And that's where you just ignore these micro movements. Yeah, you can kind of start looking and seeing the pattern, but it's all just dojis. You got a strong bull bar here, somewhat strong bear bar here, but doji, 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 doji. Just dojis everywhere. So stay out of stuff like this until you see solid legs like this. This is where you want to enter. These are the bread and butter setups. Don't get yourself all excited and enter the market wrong and get stopped out on stuff like this. It's just never going to work for you. So that's where I took this. We've got a yes mid range. This range wasn't, I guess, drawn up until I drew it over here, and this trend line as well. Ignore this trend line because I drew this after I saw these 3 swing highs. But I took this partly because it's low risk. Also, I like seeing legs like this. I count this as a strong rejection. We've got our strong leg up, rejection, and then a strong body, but then again, price just doesn't go anywhere. Low risk, 5 tick bar, 6 tick, plenty of room, down literally all the way down to here. So I took it. Hindsight, yeah, you're top of range, but that's not really what it is. You've got, again, this hammer, rather inverse hammer, that gets all these shorts in, and then they get stopped out. And that's what I'm calling out. It's like all these shorts who entered here technically got stopped out, but price didn't shoot up. Price held and then gave me a good bear bar. Low risk, good room, and I'm going to take stuff like that because, again, when something ticks through and gets all those shorts with their stops up here, and then price doesn't go anywhere, that's a good chance of those sellers up here still have a solid conviction for price to continue going down. Because if they didn't, they would have gotten out here, and when you're short, you have to buy to close, and that's going to join this already existing momentum from this bar. These are all longs, all bulls buying down here to push the price all the way up here, and it ticks through where these stops would be, but then it doesn't go anywhere. Those stops are okay. I'm going to try again, and then it again shoots down. So low risk. I like taking stuff like this where a stop gets hit, and then price just flattens, and then it gives you a good opportunity to go that opposite direction. Low risk. I take stuff like this all the time. Again, only low risk. If it's a huge 8-tick bar, probably not a good idea. But 5 ticks, 6 ticks. I'm only going for 4 ticks. I got my scalp. My run got ticked out, but it is what it is. You've got your bear leg here, rejection. Yeah, that's a doji, but that's a solid hammer bar. Price moves all the way up here, right from these lows, and then you get a solid rejection, solid bear bar here. And that's where I like seeing this whole trend line. We've got the new extreme. This trend line broke down here, and the rules of the trend line is once this trend line breaks, you're looking for the new extreme of wherever that high was in that trend line, and once you get that new extreme, then you're looking for that price to reverse. And I like these setups where, and I say them all the time, almost like too good to be true setups. You've got this strong bull trend, bull leg. It hasn't touched EMA really since 10:30, and it's been an hour without any price at EMA until here. And what I like to do, and that's where I won't take this long, one, because I had this trend line drawn, I think, here now. Just not enough room to go long here. But I'm looking for when this fails, because again, from the bull's point of view, they see this bear leg failure, bear leg, and then a good entry point for them. Hey, I'm on this bull, bull trend here. I haven't touched EMA in forever. I'm right at EMA, 2 solid bear rejections, strong signal bar here, low risk. I'm going to take this. Ticks up, doesn't get them in the 4 ticks, stops right at trend line, and then I take that short right where their stops would be, and then I get my 4 ticks. A little bit more of an advanced setup, but this is the kind of failure of the second failures that we look for. And really, again, I only do this for like outright perfect setups where I see this strong bull trend, hasn't touched EMA at all. You know what the longs are thinking. They're looking for another opportunity to maybe move price a little bit higher. They're looking for price to be at EMA to start to enter, and they try here. It moves up a little bit, strong rejection, and then they want to try again. And this totally could have worked and totally could have gone up, and I wouldn't have done anything. But it didn't. Ticked up and shot right back down. This is a strong bear rejection. I entered short here, and you get all the traps, or rather all the stops here get trapped out, have to now short with you, and then you get your 4 ticks. Took that. Again, a little bit more advanced setup, but it is a second rejection. So no scout, or rather no runner, unfortunately, but good trade overall. This one was actually like a failed engulfing, which one of these, I guess it's good to point out one that I didn't take. This failed engulfing ticked down, engulfed bullish, and then closed as a doji. I didn't want to short this one. Now that we're here, I'm thinking that this range is going to hold. So I'm thinking long. I don't want to think short. And that's, again, where context matters with these failed engulfing. And even sometimes they'll work without good context because, again, they're just so violent. But to better your odds and to avoid, getting stopped out on these setups, you want to, again, include that context. So for here, you don't really want to short, again, because you're bottom of this range. You're looking to buy low, sell high. You should be looking to long, especially because you're under EMA. And this trend line's been drawn. Again, I don't like entering where the trend line is going to act as support or resistance. If I were to enter here, you could totally have this maybe tick one tick down and then shoot right back up, and then you're stopped out. And you can see here, like, buyers are sort of holding this line. If you were to take this short, I'd probably be out by now as soon as I saw this T-bar. I definitely wouldn't sweat. I mean, you'd probably get stopped out actually right now because although depends where your stop is. If it's right here, you're out, and this is a failed trade. But yeah, again, you want this violent move down, and that's where I didn't take this because you're at trend line, you're shorting under a range, so you're doing the opposite of buying low, selling high, towards the trend line, just not enough space. Good example of these failed engulfing that I try not to take. As much as they do work, again, like this, even if you didn't get stopped out, you would have gotten your 4 ticks. But again, you want to apply the context as much as the setups. We do get our strong bull leg, strong rejection, but then no kind of second attempt and then up again. So nothing here at all. And then you get a strong bull leg. And then again, this is what I'm talking about. You just want to avoid this chop. Strong bull leg, yes, it's a strong rejection, but this is just chop. This is not a leg. You could argue this is the leg, and then this is the hammer top, and then, oh yeah, I want to short here, but look at the space. This is a triple bottom. There's no space to get your 4 ticks. You don't want to go for 1 tick because you're just then paying just literally for fees, and by the time you do your 8 tick stop, you're just blowing up account and giving money away. No space here. Yes, you're top of range, but look at it's just chop. You don't know who's gonna win. You can again call this a mini range, and you're now shorting middle of that range. That's just bad. 50-50 chance. Dojis are always 50-50 chance. We don't like 50-50 chances. We want high probability setups, and that's where you just don't want to take stuff like this. That's where you, again, I call it all the time. You want to get those solid legs, those solid movements, where then price just stops. Solid movement, price just stops. Yeah, unfortunately didn't give us another opportunity to go long here, but that's where we wait. Stuff like this, solid bull leg, decent rejection, but then chop. So instead of stuff like this, if you were to go short like that, you would have been stopped out. You can see it doesn't get your 4 ticks. You're going to be sweating, shoots right back up, you get stopped out, and just avoid stuff like this. Again, the key is you want to look for those solid legs, solid rejections, but then you want to look for those solid bars. You don't want to look at dojis. You want to make sure the leg that you're entering on was a solid And again, I say solid all the time. Solid is just a strong, volatile, heavy, fast movement. This is a strong movement. This is not. These are dojis. This is just consolidation. Even stuff like this, yes, this went down, but this is just a doji and a doji and not strong, not what we're looking for. We're looking for stuff like this. And yeah, right? Like none of these set up for us, but we wait. Um, so nothing up here. You would have stopped out. Again, you want to wait for the good bars. You want to wait for the obvious strong rejections. This is obvious, right? It's a strong bull leg, but where's my obvious second attempt? You could again argue this, but this is a kind of a piss poor failure. Price didn't, it stopped. It didn't just go right. It didn't give a solid bear bar, and maybe it did stop, but again, just avoid dojis, avoid crap like this. You're just always gonna get stopped out. Um, Price pushes way higher. Again, you're looking for that second opportunity. You're not looking for the first opportunity. Don't take T-bar, stuff like this. Solid bull leg. Price just stops. We're okay. Sellers have come in the market. I'm maybe looking for an opportunity up here. Shoots all the way down. Solid bull leg. I wouldn't call this a solid bull leg really until this forms. You've got, let's just look. That, I'm not going to call that a bull leg yet. Yeah, it's a bull bar, but it's still a doji. And then you get this, and yeah, price went up, but price could totally come back down. Like, that's a inverse hammer. This is, in my opinion, still the bear leg. Maybe a rejection, but I don't know yet. And then as soon as I see this, okay, obviously buyers came in, moving price up. Look at that bar. That's an obvious rejection. And that's where, again, these big bars matter. It's what you are looking for. These small bars, these dojis, these I don't know where price is going to go bars, ignore those. So you get your solid rejection here, but I don't like taking one hammers. Two, I want price to be up here. I know sellers are defending this area. I don't know if they're going to defend, halfway to that area. So there's just no guarantee that this is going to work. Yeah, you've got space, but again, as I always say, like the further you are from EMA, the higher probability you are of getting that 4 ticks because EMA acts as a magnet. You're not super far away from EMA. If you were again up here, where I know sellers defended this price line up here, I'm now way further from EMA, and I probably had a better leg, and hopefully that leg just stopped. That would maybe would have been a good opportunity up here. But again, down here, yeah, you have space. Yeah, it's a bearish inverse hammer, but yeah, it is a solid rejection from the leg. But again, it's not up here where we know sellers came in. It's down here where there's this doji. Buyers fought this area. If this wasn't a doji and this is a straight bear bar, okay, maybe you could see that, but this is a doji, meaning buyers and sellers were fighting over this price area. So I'm not gonna short here because I don't know what's going on in this area. I know what's going on up here because sellers just stop price. So that's where you want to again wait for the solid leg, solid rejection, solid leg, but up where that first rejection was. And then that's, okay, I know sellers are still up here, and then that's where you look to short. Would have worked, but again, not necessarily the best setup. Also, not a small risk bar. Yeah, it's 6 tick, but like this maybe 4 tick. Okay, I can see that. But again, you want to wait for price to kind of get up to the matching highs of where that first rejection was. So strong bull leg, way above these extremes now. We're just waiting now for another rejection, then another solid attempt, but we never really got it. Just a lot of chop, not much really opportunity wise here. Even like down here, yeah, it's a solid bear leg, but you're now shorting range lows. So as we always say, buy low, sell high. Wait for your perfect setup. There's just nothing in here, just lots of chop. You get your bull leg, yeah, that matches up here, and it rejects. But once I see this consolidation, I know that buyers and sellers are fighting over this area. Up here, maybe this is now like an actual going to be a breakout, or maybe it's not, and that's where like I want to know when I trade high probability setups. Nothing really here. Yeah, you've got your double top, maybe it engulfed all the way down. you probably get stop. Oh, that's 6 ticks, so you probably just be safe if your stop is up here. But again, just stay out of stuff like this, unless this was like a small risk down here. Actual hammer. Maybe you go along there, but by the time you are here, you don't know this range has started yet. You only really know that range has started by the time you see maybe these few bars where you can kind of just count the tops and the highs and the lows of those. Um, so again, stay out of stuff like this. You're looking for these strong legs, you know, and don't trade until you see those. So once we got down here, I actually got some solid setups here. We've got, like I said, strong leg, strong rejection, and same price line. So we've got strong bear leg, and then price just stops and goes up, and rejection. And that's what I'm saying. Like these legs don't have to be 8 bars. A solid rejection, a solid leg can just be one single, you know, 9 tick bar that shows you buyers brought price violently up and rejected. If this was a mini doji, I'd still call this the bear trend. But if you look at that, that was an obvious rejection. Price went down here and then went violently all the way up. Like, look how big this bar is compared to the other two, and that's a good rejection. So I'm counting this bear leg here. We've already got the support here. Again, I don't count this as the second failure of this because this is all just chop. I want to see a solid leg on its own, and then I kind of start counting. So solid rejection here, and then again, solid bear bar, meaning sellers are continuing to take this down. Boom. I know now when these two are counted, this is a solid bear leg. If this popped up a little bit, let's just say like this is a T bar, this bar was this bar right now, I would probably count this as still the first bull rejection, because again, you want to see like obvious visual movement. This is an obvious visual bear leg. Obviously, like price violently went from here all the way up here. Price obviously, once you see the second bar, this bar again, as much as this is strong bearish, it's an inside bar. You don't know if this maybe ticks all the way up, and then this is still the continuation of that bull, that first bull rejection. But once you see this, now I know they rejected. Sellers are still trying to push price down. It halts at this double bottom. Then I get this T bar, and again, this is price just halting. As much as it is a doji, and I don't want to count dojis and legs, buyers and sellers are fighting for this. And then as soon as I saw this engulfing bullish bar, plenty of room under EMA. We've got this range as well. And similar to what I played earlier that I got stopped out on, and just because you got stopped out on one setup doesn't mean you don't take it again. You're hoping that that setup and over time that setup works. So really the same setup I took over here, where I've got this mini range I'm counting as an engulfing bull to come back into that range, and that's where I took the same setup. Luckily got my 4 ticks before it reversed down. But you do have a solid bear leg, rejection, solid bear leg, and then this solid bull bull hammer, and then I got my 4 ticks. It did, even if you didn't get filled in there, you would eventually would have gotten out here. And that's where you want to, again, not move your stops. Even if you see that bar, keep your stop where it is. Play the law of large numbers. Once you start playing with your stop and like, hey, I want to put it here, or I see this and I want to break even, that would have been a good trade, and you would have made your profit. And if you stopped out or maybe took less profit, now you're not making up for maybe some losers that you had earlier in the day. So that's where when you enter a trade, just let it work or let it not. Don't play with it. Even if you're sweating. So that's where I took this, got it. Hindsight, yeah, this is chop, but again, you have to look bar by bar. Solid bear leg rejection, solid bear leg. This is a good. Hey, I'm under EMA, I'm under range, plenty of room to the trend line. This is a good bull engulfing. If this ticks through, I'm not entering here. Once it ticks through, then I enter limit here. But yeah, solid rejection, and I got my 4 ticks. So good trade there. This one failed engulfing. What happened? And this one I actually didn't take at the top here. I saw this failed engulfing, and I took it mid bar. Partly because I like these trend traps. And again, they don't happen all the time, but when they do happen, they're pretty violent. So what happens is everyone draws these trend lines. Everyone thinks to short at the top, maybe buy at the long, and I wait for those to not work. And this was a trap, meaning shorts went, saw this trend line. I'm gonna short here, ticks down, but then it was also failed engulfing. So as this leg formed, so we've got this bear leg, then we see this bar, and then where's the failed engulfing right here? We've got this T-bar. It ticks up from this T-bar, engulfs bearish down, and again, that's I'm not taking that bearish, even though we're at the trend line. That's where I always avoid taking setups at trend lines and avoiding you know room to trend lines. Um, but this ticked up, reversed bearish to engulf this T-bar and trapped all the shorts thinking, hey, I'm at trend line, I'm under EMA, we're in a bearish trend, I'm going to short here, price is going to continue moving down. Ticks one tick through to get all the bears in, and again, I'm looking to have my entry point up here, and then it ticks, or rather slowly comes back up, and then I see this bar, double bottom right at trend line, and I'm going opposite of this. And that's where these traps I like to point out is all the shorts have their stops appear thinking that this trend line is going to hold. I see this failed engulfing halfway to it, low risk bar, 5 tick bar, 6 tick risk. To get my 4 ticks, I'm gonna take this all day, and you can see how violent it is because everyone puts their stops up here. Even if you were to take this failed engulfing, probably would have worked. Kind of shot right back down, but that is still your 4 ticks. Your swing high up here. So good, solid entry here. Again, as far as a trend trap goes, because all the shorts thinking that this trend line is going to hold doesn't work, as well as this failed engulfing, which ticked up, got all the bears in on the engulfing, and then takes all the way back up, failure, and good trade overall. Also took this one, and now that this range has been drawn, now that you can kind of start again counting those legs. So strong rejection here, price goes up, another strong rejection, and then low risk, 5 tick bar, bottom of the range, plenty of room to this swing high up here. I took it, easy trade. You can kind of see like it's one leg failure, 2 leg failure, and you've also got the double bottom support here, and this is what I call it all the time. Everyone puts their stops here, and if this ticks through those stops and price continues moving down, okay, yeah, the sellers are, or rather the buyers aren't defending this price anymore. But it ticked through those stops, created a double bottom, and then shot right back up. And that's a good sign that the buyers who were supposedly stopped out here still have the conviction that price is going to move all the way up here. So when I see stuff like that, even if the context or the bar isn't perfect, I know that buyers are still around because they didn't give up. They, could have given up once it ticked through here, and again, price goes all the way down. But their stops, maybe they weren't here, whatever, but they bought more to move price again up, and that's where you can kind of see it shot all the way back up. So I took my runner out here. I saw the double top here. Would have been nice. Hindsight again, whatever. Got my profit, but solid. Low risk, 5 tick bar. You put your stop right down here, 1 tick up below, so 6 tick total risk. Plenty of room, bottom of the range. I know this trend line isn't holding anymore because we had the overshoot, or rather, we had the break. We have the new extreme, so I'm safe to do longs now. Under EMA, plenty of room. And even if you've got this long, or rather wider range drawn, this is still the bottom of that range. So all in all, solid key entry points. I'll take stuff like this all day where, again, stops get triggered, but then price continues to go back up. Meaning those buyers are still down here, and that's really the high level strategy is we want to wait for a leg to fail, knowing that the opposite side is around. Then we want to wait for a second attempt to fail, giving us that confirmation that those buyers or sellers are still in that same area, and then we just enter with them. And again, that's where the bars and the context come into play. But that's the long and the short of of our strategy. So we do get this solid bull leg all the way up here. Solid rejection, but I don't like, and this is what I call it, you want to find these strong legs. If this is a strong bull move back up to here and then a rejection, probably solid entry. You're way above EMA, 2 double tops up here, and who knows what you had up here, but that could have been a good entry. Down here, again, you're halfway to where the price was defended. Price was defended up here. You don't know if there's buyers or sellers down here or where price is going to happen. Yes, you do get this kind of price just does stop. You kind of get the double top hammer, but I don't like stuff like this. It's also, you can argue, kind of congestion. By the time you see this, this is a double bar, minus that one tick. So don't take stuff like this. Again, you want to wait for those solid legs and then ignore dojis and just mini consolidation like this, and it'll just save you. So strong bear leg, and again, we're waiting for that bear leg to push to a new extreme. Certainly has, certainly lower than this, and then rejection, and then we're looking for another extreme, but we never get it. And again, I'm pointing this out where, yes, that is a bear leg, solid rejection, solid bear bar. You could, again, and that's where, like, depending on how big this is a huge leg, so I'm looking for another larger move down. But let's just say this leg was, small. This could have been a good leg, but with it so low, or rather with it so high compared to this, buyers came in here. You don't know what's going to happen mid-range, or rather, mid-leg. So that's where don't take stuff like this. You want to, if this bear bar came in and then went all the way down here, and then you had a nice bull entry point rejection long, yeah, again, good setup. But we don't want to force stuff. We want to wait for the good setups. And if, as much as you see this, and then you see this as, hey, I'm a solid rejection, one, as I said, you want to enter long down here where I know buyers came in. Two, there's not enough space. You've got this double top with this, tick up here, and, maybe you get filled. I guess if your stop is here, it would have worked. But again, you don't want to take that stuff like that. Just it never works. Well, I guess I wouldn't say never, but you will blow up your account in the long run if you do stuff like this. So just don't. Again, solid bear leg, chop 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 chop. But this is a solid bear bar, so I would consider this like the start of the first leg. Then a solid rejection, two strong bull bars here. So one strong bull leg, solid rejection. But then we're like 2 minutes to the close. Trend line. We've got the double top up here, just not enough room. So late day stuff like that, I'll only take perfect setups. As strong as this is, just not enough room. I don't like taking support, or rather, I don't like assuming the trend line is going to be support. It totally could just trap me and shoot the way down, and I'd rather wait for that and then join that. And yeah, again, it worked, but you want to wait for the good stuff. So that's it for today. Again, overall, solid bull day, some solid trades. Hope you all had a good day. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow.